All right, y'all. It's your boy Bruhman from the fifth floor, live from another episode of the Dress Code Podcast, alongside my co-host, the lovely stylist local.
Hello, hello.
And today we have somebody. All right, first of all, I don't want to make it seem like I'm a stalker or nothing like that. You feel me? But
he is.
Relax, yo. As y'all know, I say this every episode. Black women serve as my biggest inspiration when it comes to fashion. You know, I with having Instagram and so many different blog pages, I could sit down and just get lost in just people being themselves, doing their thing. And our guest today is somebody whose pages I just sit down there and I just be like, now can I find that in men?
Right.
Can I pull that off? Huh? You know, it's none other than the lovely Harlem's own Eyeconicash.
Yes.
Welcome to the Dress Code Podcast.
Thank you guys so much for having me. That was such a sweet introduction. Thank you very much. Thank you guys for having me. I truly appreciate being here. So thank you so much.
We have one of the biggest faces in the fashion industry from not only from New York, not from just it's bigger than New York, bigger than Harlem. In the world.
Oh, that
right about now.
All right, now, come on.
Listen,
now, don't go that far.
Don't
go
undermine yourself.
Yeah, come on. And I feel you, but like, let's come on. That's not because the people. Sometimes people is like, I don't know. She thinks she like don't.
You
and
know
then
who you is.
No, but come on. Let's be very.
You know what? You don't have to say it. Like we'll say it for you.
I give you your props.
Well, I appreciate
dare somebody
that.
to say something about it.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. You know, I think that a part of what connects me to the everyday person is that I carry myself very much like the everyday person because I am, right?
Yeah.
I do get to do some very, very cool things through my work, but at my core of who I am just a regular girl who wants everybody to understand that we all have a purpose here in life, and you know, we all have what we're doing. Our purpose here is really bigger than who we are, and so I kind of just walk with that being my aura, and so that's why I just like to let's not only because I don't want it to want other people. And we'll get into this more as we talk to feel like they aren't doing enough, right? Simply because they're existing in the space that they're in and in their minds, they're not doing enough. You are doing perfectly fine. You're doing absolutely everything that you're supposed to. And when your time to be doing something different or to elevate comes, that is exactly when it'll come, when it's exactly right for you and exactly when it's supposed to. So please don't think that, anything that you're doing is little or small or it's not enough, because it's exactly what you're supposed to be doing in this exact moment.
Can I get a hallelujah?
Amen, amen.
Hallelujah.
And I feel like a lot of people need to hear that just because I think we all struggle with that.
Absolutely.
I struggle with it.
Yeah.
Not gonna hold you. Let me tell you, right? So I met her last week at event for Sporty and Rich, right?
Wait, you didn't tell me you met her.
I told you.
No, you didn't. You just bro. No, how did I not get the invite for this event, bro?
So I went last minute. It was like a last minute thing
tough.
for me to go, right?
It's all right. You getting the payback for Mugler.
Absolutely, because you went without me. But anyway, so now I see her, right?
And God, just tell your friends, man. Just tell your friends.
So I see her. And I was like, oh, so I was going to go say hi. So I tapped her and she turned around and I introduced myself to her and we spoke. And then getting ready to leave, I was like, I should ask her to be on the podcast. But when I tell you I was shitting bricks, because I don't speak to people.
Really?
Yes, I can be I can speak for other people. I can't speak for myself.
For yourself. Understood.
Yes. And so I was like, Ashley. Mm-hmm. I was like, no, I just hit her up in a DM. I said, that's dumb. Why would you?
When I'm right there. Right, exactly.
So when I went over to say bye to Chrissy, literally in that exact moment, I was just like, no.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm very glad you did. Thank you very much.
All I said was like, how do you feel about interviews? And she was like, I love them. What's up? And her energy was just so amazing. She wasn't funny or anything like that.
Thank you so much.
And I do think that people on social media who have a following or who are considered influencers, sometimes when you do meet them in person, they're not.
It's not given what the Instagram gave.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, and
I met one the other day. And
we
I was
can talk about
it.
Yeah.
I'll talk about it.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
It was just very standoffish energy. And with her, it wasn't like that. So immediately I felt like, okay, you did what you were supposed to do and you were in the right space at the right time.
Absolutely.
Right.
And so when it comes to what you were saying about, just not feeling like you're doing enough, I've been feeling like that since the whole time we have it recorded.
Right. But here's this. I hope that you took that and remove my response to it, right? Because that was great, you know what I mean? Because we're sitting here, but an even bigger thought is be proud of yourself, because now maybe you won't be so scared the next
Right.
time. You understand what I'm saying? Because I was, receptive to it, I was like, let's do it.
Yeah.
Right? And you had such a genuine and warm, welcoming spirit that I felt like I could, even though I'm just that way to anybody. But because you took that leap of faith and you did that, something that you might have been, not so sure about doing before.
Right.
Now the next time you may not think twice about
Right.
I'll ask, right? And you may not get the best reception, from the next person, but at least you did it.
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
Because that's the thing. We can never control what other people do. We can never control how people control how people respond to us. But as long as we're always, forthcoming, nice, welcoming, warm, and all of those things.
Yeah.
When anybody does past that, it's not on us.
It's not on me.
It's not my
You know what I
business,
mean?
I always say that.
It's not on us.
me
Yeah. Yep. It's not on us.
True.
So please give us an introduction on who you are, how you got into the game, and just your beginnings.
So as y'all know, I say all the time, I'm just a girl from Harlem. But yes, my name is Ashlee. I'm from Harlem, New York. I am a wife. I'm a mom. I'm a friend. I'm a cousin. I'm all those things. A sister. And to my core, I say this often, and a lot of people will get on platforms and they're like, my kids are the reason, and I just knew that I, wanted better for my children, and the minute I had a child, I just knew,
Right.
right,
Changed for me.
right. And while for them that might be an absolute fact. For me, however, and this is no knock to my kids, this is not to shit on my children or anything like that. However, I believe that my purpose in life is bigger than just bearing and rearing children. I think that my purpose in life is to bring everyone closer together and is to make people feel less alone in a world that is extremely divisive. There's things that are like placed on us, and people say things, and hell, all you gotta do is open social media, and there's some sort of argument, debate going of why, men don't need women, and, women don't need men, and why this one dresses better than this one, who wore it best, and, my hair is longer than yours, and, or short hair girls look better than girls that wear, like, there's so many divisive things without even being conscious that we see on a daily. And I feel like my greatest purpose, right next to, having and teaching my children, is to make people feel less alone in a world that only divides. And so when I was trying to think of how I could turn that into a career, because I was so sick of just working, dead-end jobs that I knew there was really no growth for me there, and I was only doing them for the sole purpose of making money, how can I start a conversation that people will actually want to listen to, right? Because, nobody cared about what Jay-Z really had to say. Obviously, when he was going to all these record companies and nobody wanted to sign him, nobody cared about what he had to say until he had the money and the popularity and the fame behind him. So I went in business with that same idea in mind. How can I, because now that he has this platform, now what is he talking about? Generational wealth, building a family, loving your wife, raising your kids, and all the things that are truly, truly what's important, right, in this world. But nobody listened, nobody would have cared if he was the broke guy standing on the corner shaking a cup.
Money talks.
Right? And so I said, okay, how can let me not get ahead of myself, right? I know that I'm talking to my friend groups, and yeah, they might be hearing me, but I want to change the world on like a bigger scale. So how do I do that? So I said, okay, something that I always get a lot of compliments on or a lot of flack for is the way that I dress. I didn't dress like anybody that was, remotely in my circle. I didn't dress, like anybody that I was around.
Preaching to the choir.
Right, at the time. And so, for my friends, the people, that loved me, they loved the fact that I didn't dress like everybody else. For people at the time that I thought and considered family, they would talk bad about it all the time.
Crazy.
Who does this girl think like this? That shit looks whack, and you need to like where are you going with that on, right? And these little jabs, nothing. And I'm sure that even to their defense, they didn't think that they were like chipping away at my security and myself. I'm sure they didn't think that. It was just who they are, right? So no knock, no fault to them. But I said, okay, if this evokes emotion from people, from even people that don't like it, maybe that's a way that I can kind of segue into, you know, becoming more known and then having the conversations that I really want to have with people about how we can change the world, you know, in a different way. So I started making these like custom little one-off pieces. I would like stud jackets, you know, when that was like a thing, or actually before that became a thing. My friend and I started this company. We called it We Rock at the time. Because I had a Tumblr and my Tumblr name was like Eyeconicash, I think, or something like that.
Tumblr.
And, and it was that part. And so it was because it was two of us, so it was we. So it was the company was like We Rock, and we would like stud jackets, and you know, life happened, and that kind of like fell by the wayside. And so I'll never forget, I had like a BBM icon photo back in BBM days. That's what I'm telling y'all. That's what I'm telling y'all. And that's another thing. Do not think that anything you see on Instagram happened yesterday.
Absolutely.
Because it didn't.
Absolutely
Everybody that you see that's successful on Instagram, it is very rare, I'll say, that those people started then and are millionaires right now. That is a rarity. The true like entrepreneurs and people that have put the blood, sweat, and tears into this have been doing this for longer than you could even fathom.
Absolutely.
Right?
All behind the scenes.
So I had a BBM icon picture, and my friend Kel saw it, and he was like, yo, those jackets in your picture are dope. And I was like, thank you. He's like, where'd you get them from? I said, I made them. He like, oh, it's lit. I want you to make me a jacket. I said, done. I got you. And I love doing it at this time. Right at that time, that's when now they're my family. They've adopted me, and I love them oh so much. The Harlem Haberdashery family, that's when Harlem Haberdashery was actually set to open. It had not opened yet. This was the year that they were going to open, which has now been 11 years. And you guys have to come.
My mother's been talking about that store to me for years.
Oh, I love that. I love to hear that. So we were so they were like set to open. And so as like as we got like really, really close, you know, we'd have all these conversations. He's like, yo, you know, my family's opening up a store. I'd love for you to come, you know, be a part of it and, you know, bring anything that you have to the table. So we were like setting up and, you know, for the grand open and everything. And, you know, that just kind of led to me actually seeing like there are people out here that I can see, feel, touch that are getting to this fashion shit in a very tangible, real way, right? They're working with people that I've only ever watched on TV, you know, so that opened my mind to see like, oh, this is really like possible and attainable, and I can actually do this. And so, you know, I was still doing like my thing on the side and like fostering friendships and building relationships. And I had built a relationship with my friend Binky, who I thank every time that I tell his story, because we met at a game night, and she kind of asked what I did, and I told her, you know, like I do a little bit of styling, and I you know, like make clothes and just do like really cool, you know, designing and things like that. And so she was like, okay, well, if I ever have anything where I can like fold you into the mix, I'd love to like bring you on. Like 3 days later, she called me and was like, what are you doing? And I'm like, nothing. I'm kind of just at home. Yeah, like I'm at home with the kids or whatever. And she's like, I got a job for you. She's like, I need you to, you know, like help me source a bunch of clothes. We have a fitting. It's for Cardi, and she's for her dancers, and she's performing on SNL. So I was like, oh, okay, well, when is that going to take place? Like next week or in 2 weeks? And she's like, it's tomorrow. Ooh.
Child, the pressure.
I was like, what? So I won't go down that long rabbit hole, but that, you know, that situation is what really like propelled, because I was doing it, you know, on the side on my own, little small jobs here and there, but that was what kind of catapulted me into where I am today, now working on like full tours and productions and, you know, all these things, because that one black woman believed in what she saw in me, right? And allowed me to grow. And, you know, she taught me, you know, so many things in that experience, because styling, you know, someone like you and me, or even a celebrity, is very, very different than styling 10 dancers. That's a completely different ballgame, because there's so many things that one doesn't even think about from a person, as opposed to just walking a red carpet, as opposed to 10 girls that have to dance full out on a stage for 2 hours. So, I'm so grateful because now I really feel like there's no job that I can't do because of being thrust into that situation so abruptly. Her, having the patience with me and teaching me so many things, and just adding on gyms and even allowing me to teach her things, that just her fostering that space for me was unlike anything I've ever done. And so, that, like I said, that Black woman believing in me has now, opened my mind to the possibilities of even more things, that I can do and that I've, gone on to do after, her and I had that situation. So that's kind of how I got thrust into it. And now that, through being transparent, through being, very open, honest, raw, sometimes saying the things that people are too afraid to say, but everybody kind of agrees with. And thinks on, my social media, that has now given me the platform to now do these very things, right? And to allow people to see, oh shit, I thought I was the only one that felt that way. I never looked at that like that. That's a great perspective that she has. That's, those opportunities have now allowed me on my social media to do exactly what I set out to do from jump. So I've, continued with my own company and I founded Be Iconic, the name Be Iconic, but like I said, I've been doing it far prior than Instagram. But I've finally locked in and was like, I'm going to be a real entrepreneur this time. I'm not going to just, keep bullshitting with my talent. Right. And so I started Be Iconic in 2016 and that is just, that's just turned 7 years. And, I want to continue to grow as a human. I want to continue to grow as a person and be the best, obviously wife, mother, sister, friend that I can be. I enjoy showing people the entrepreneurial journey from its conception, showing you how you can literally take something from nothing. This girl in the projects who couldn't even afford to take a taxi to deliver some of my clients' stuff, I would have to walk with my kids, you know what I'm saying, in a stroller. So I want to show them that you can go from that to now having celebrities wearing your clothes and, having a platform on social media that just might be worth listening to if I'm your cup of tea, right? Because I'm not everybody's cup of tea. But if I'm your cup of tea, having
with
right,
that.
Absolutely.
And we're okay with that. But guess what? Even a step further, I wasn't always okay with that. For a long time, I didn't understand why you don't like me. Right? That's a very honest, real, raw, like that's a real thing to feel, right? Absolutely. When you're young, especially from a kid. So now that's why we teach our children from very young that it's okay, right? To try to avoid as much as possible them growing up and having that feeling as an adult, right? Because my grandmother poured into me. I was the best thing since sliced bread, according to her. So when I got in the real world and people didn't like my honesty and people didn't accept me for just genuinely being who I am, and who I perceive myself to be. Yeah. Because that's also a thing. Perception is a real right? Thing, yeah. Because of that, right? And that people didn't necessarily like me, I'm like, why? And it would eat away at me. Absolutely. Until I learned to love all parts of who I actually am, not who I think I am, right? And then say, got it. You don't like this part of me. This part of me is a trigger for you. That's the why.
That's the why.
But guess what? I'm also okay with that. Right. So that's the spiel.
I feel like that was a beautiful introduction right there. She got it all out for us.
Took us to church.
But I feel like that's the what you call it. I feel like with social media right there, with that, with the ending part of what you said, it's allow people to become more comfortable with telling you why they don't like you. Absolutely. And then you will literally see 100 people praise you, but it'll be those 3 comments that'll eat at you on why you don't like me. And it's like, yo, all these people love me. Look at all the rest of these comments. They're loving me. They're cheering. Yo, go, bro, man. Go, bro, man. Go. And it's like, man, fuck this nigga. I'm like, oh, yo. Right. Bro, I'm not cool, bro. What you mean, fuck me? But you use the word right there, and you use a phrase, and it just made sense to me. Something that I'm doing, something I may be saying, it may not even be offensive. Nope. It just triggers something in you.
It's probably never offensive.
It just triggers something.
The problem is they don't like the fact that you have the guts enough to say it. Absolutely. Whatever it may be. How dare he feel like he has the audacity to say that, even though it's the truth? How dare he be confident enough in his person to say whatever it is that he's saying.
She got to watch the Corey K episode. You're literally saying everything that I said verbatim in that episode. How in the same tone and everything. How dare you be confident?
Right.
How dare he?
Right. Because so many of us aren't. And which is again why my platform is so big on, fulfilling these insecurities and changing the world in that way. That's my biggest slogan is change the world one self-esteem at a time.
Insecurity disruptor.
Absolutely. Because that's absolutely what I feel like I am. I want to kill him in every way, shape, or form. Because people think that it only has to do with looks. No, insecurities run so much deeper than just looks.
We could get past this, baby.
You understand?
It's a lot.
It's so many things that people are insecure about, right? Some people are even insecure about their traumas because they aren't aware of how to fix them. But once you can identify them, right, and start saying, okay, well, I know that my traumas are this, and this. Then you can get to the deeper root of why your triggers are what they are. Right. And there's so many layers, but that takes a lot of self-reflective work that so many people don't want to do because the easy thing is to think, I'm right, I'm perfect, I didn't do anything wrong because I'm nice.
Just because you're nice don't mean you're not a shitty person, though.
You understand what I'm saying, right? And it also doesn't even have to make you shitty, but there still doesn't mean that there aren't things there that need to be worked through, talked through, fixed. You understand what I'm saying? Realized in order for you to be and this is, again, only for people who are interested in being the best versions of themselves. If you're fine with being this flawed, beautiful individual, then you go right on ahead. Yeah. But if you actually want to change to be the best version of yourself, for yourself and those around you and who love you, then it might be time to actually start doing some of that self-reflecting.
It took me learning to really be okay with not everybody liking me to really step into my light of being my true self, because for so long, like for me, I used to mask my insecurities with dressing. I used to.
You took the word I was about to say. A lot of people do it with clothes. Since we're talking about fashion,
my closet masked my insecurities. I used to wear before I discovered contacts. I used to wear like these ugly wired glasses. I was heavier. I was heavy set. I had. It was a whole lot going on for me. I had my hairline wasn't even hairline in the way it was supposed to hairline.
The way you wanted it.
The way I wanted it to hairline, And I wasn't always tall.
Right.
I always tell people I hit my growth spurt in 10th grade, 9th grade going into 10th grade. I went from 5'9" to 6'3". So I was pretty much average height, short, fat kid.
Right.
But one thing you could not take away from me
was the way you dressed.
I put that shit on.
Yeah. That was my security blanket.
That's my security blanket.
My
I always say dressing was my security blanket,
Absolutely.
So it took a while to just really become accepting of, yo, bro, if you take this clothes off, you still
got it. That's right.
Yeah.
You still the same person,
still stuck with yourself.
Good and bad. Because once the clothes come off, you still that nigga. But you still got these insecurities that you have to deal with.
That's right.
You still have these things that you have to work on.
That's right.
And I didn't allow the clothes to because I guess as I've evolved into the better version of me on the physical aspect, because your boy fine, but before I let it go over there, I had to really do that inner work on me and really sit back and be like, you know what, you got to accept this, bro.
Right.
You got to take and you have to work on this. You have to take it as things that you're not made for everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not made for everybody.
Right.
You guys have like similar, I guess, stories, but my insecurities were always came from me. So I have diabetes, and I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when I was 12. That was my insecurity because I never wanted to be one of those kids that I wasn't like all of the other kids, basically.
Right.
So I spent a long time like not taking care of myself, trying to act like I was
normal,
normal, right?
Because you didn't want to be labeled as like the sickly kid.
Exactly.
Right.
But guess what? I was always sick
Right.
because I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. So I ended up in the hospital all the time
Anyway. Exactly.
And then to the point where it's just like, it was
I'm gonna fight you right now.
It was so ridiculous, but it was just like, for a long time, I didn't want to wear insulin pump. I didn't want to wear a sensor because I was like, no, I don't want people to see that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now, after like having to have a kidney transplant because I wasn't taking care of myself, I'm in a space where like, y'all don't get this sensor.
Period.
Like, I don't care about anything anymore. You know what I mean?
Perception cannot be more important than my health.
Than my health, exactly. And I really had to come to terms with that. Like, okay, Ashley, what do you care about more? The fact that people can see you wearing an insulin pump or a sensor, or the fact that your sugars are in control, you're healthy, you're out of the hospital.
That part.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, insecurities, like you said, they're not just like, you know, only about your looks. They're about a lot of different things.
Right.
And so for me, I struggled with that heavily.
Mm-hmm.
And even now, I still try to figure out how can I incorporate certain things for people who are like me, right? Who may wear a sensor or whatever and feel nervous about it without, I guess, like alienating, or not alienating, but how do I do all of the things?
Right.
How do I do like health, fashion? Like, how do I do all of the things?
Because here's the thing, like, because you do all the things because you are all of the things.
This is true too.
Right?
Yeah.
I already, idea just popped into my head. I'm not sure exactly like what the, like how the sensor and everything
So the
looks.
sensor, I have it on here. So this is the sensor that I have on
Got
here.
you. Okay,
Yeah,
because
so it's very small.
Right.
And then the insulin pump, I don't wear it now, but it used to be like attached. So people think it was like an iPod. They were like, you got an iPod on?
Right.
Like, no, girl.
But so what you do is, and I would, not that you even, because you might not need to wear, do you need to wear it still or no?
The pump?
The insulin pump.
No, because I have my insulin pen. So
Got
as long
you.
as I can see my sugars from my
Your
phone,
sensor,
from my sensor,
then you're fine.
Yeah, I'm good.
So, but what I would do is, so you know how to like whole get ready with me styles are like a thing. I would incorporate that just for people who don't have that just yet, and they do have to. You know how many young girls that are in high school or like young, you know, like early 20s that are going to work and trying to navigate, you know, getting dressed to go to work and like being out in society and having it on, right? You could be a voice for them because I don't see anyone doing that.
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody do a get ready with me and show their sensor and show how to dress it up and like how to make it look cute and or basically even if you saying in the video, because we can curse, right? Yeah. Because if you saying in your video like, yeah, I'm wearing my sensor and what?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And I'm loud and I'm proud about it, right? Because everybody can't be on this health is wealth soapbox, but then not understand that that's a part of that.
Right.
That's a part of keeping myself healthy. I got diagnosed with this when I was a kid. How could I help that?
Yeah.
I had no control over that.
You better than
right?
me.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So incorporate that into fashion. Incorporate that into what you do.
Right.
Baby, one of the first sponsors, as this podcast grows, one of the first sponsors I would reach out to would be the company that makes that. The sensor.
It's the Freestyle Libre 3.
I see the commercial all the time. They got money.
They got the coin.
Freestyle got the coin.
You better than me.
Freestyle.
I've been rocking my pocket. I've been rocking a pocketbook on the right.
Freestyle.
Every time somebody see what it's my sensor.
Freestyle, holla at us.
It's my
They need some coin
Every
over
day.
here.
What is that? It's my sensor.
That part. You understand what I'm saying?
Like, it took me so long.
And I'm sure, and I can completely, I understand that. I can completely understand that.
I was struggling for real, because also even with like dating, right?
For sure.
And like being intimate and stuff like that. I was like, ooh, like I don't want him to think that
you
I'm
gonna
this
grab my sugar
burden.
level.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I've had that insecurity. Like, okay, I want to be a mom. I want to have kids. Who's gonna look at me and be like, no, she's a liability. Like I don't want to be with her. You know what I'm saying? Like I have those thoughts, and so
no, but that's a real thing, right? That's a real thing, and I want you to know that you are no less a burden than anybody else.
I ain't crying.
Right? No, but you should. And that's what people should see, because it's a real thing, right? Feeling all of those things are real. And when you go into do you know how many people feel like you? Mm-hmm. Right? You sharing that, you showing that, you crying, you being vulnerable shows those people that are watching that they are not alone. And that is what this world needs more of. Yeah. Why are we holding these things that we don't want the world to see when there are millions of people who would love you just for sharing that? Because now they feel like they can let their hair down. And because now they can say, oh, I found it.
Representation.
That's my sister.
Yeah. Representation.
That's my
representation.
That's who I need to get next to. Yeah. Not the person who's also hiding it because they don't want me to see it either.
Because how are we helping each other?
Bam.
It's like the blind leading the blind, basically.
Podcast over. Episode done.
Think about how many episodes we talked about, like me being from the hood, and then she got to see it firsthand because she's from Harlem. But looking at ASAP Mob and looking at a lot of the guys from 14th Street and looking at a lot of different styles and coming back to Brooklyn, and they looking at me like what the fuck do you have on, bro? Like, what are you wearing? Why are you dressing like this? You didn't understand it. You didn't understand me, but that was representation for me. That's who I saw going to different places and having people like Kanye West and the Pharrells and the ASAP Rockies, those type of people who displayed a different look for me, and it was like, I identify.
I can do
it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then not only do I identify, you're from where I'm from.
And you look like
from
me too.
You look like
yeah.
You
and
from
you
the
look like
concrete
me.
jungle. You come out the peas.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the same peas that you came out of where niggas was laughing at you, I'm coming out them same buildings, I'm coming out them same houses, I'm coming out them same steps, I'm walking down those same blocks where I felt that same pain. But you know what? You did it before me. You have the bigger platform. You gave me the confidence because I know I'm passing it down. So now every day in my DM, every day I'm in the street, I love when dudes stop me and say, yo, bro, I ain't gonna hold you. Even when they tell me, yo, bro, it's risky. Some of the stuff you pull up, it's risky. I can't see myself doing it.
But you doing it,
But you do it, and I respect
But
it.
you have the
got
confidence to do it.
Yo,
That's
that
right.
means you can. I love that more than somebody just telling me, yo, bro, I love your fit. You telling me you don't like what I got on, but you respect what I'm doing. That means the world to me. You feel me?
Respect
Because
is also a big thing.
exactly.
I'll take that over a lot
You
of
feel me?
things.
You respect my gangster with what I'm doing. You feel me? And that's a major role because so you never know who you may be speaking up for. Right. That's why I say a lot of the things, and I've ruffled a lot of feathers. As you know, I ruffle feathers on my Instagram. People they be ready. They just realize in real life that I'm 6'7", 250, so they don't really want to tussle. But they be wanting to tussle with me over them keyboards. You feel me? But listen, at the end of the day, I'm gonna say what I gotta say.
Right.
You feel me? And I know you may not like it. He might not like it, but you see that crowd over there, you may see that one person over there, he gets it. And I'm being true to my authentic self. Right. You spoke about people being around in your circle and they didn't understand the way you dressed. They didn't like the way that you dressed, but you didn't. Bro, I'm cooler for you.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm myself.
Right.
I'm my authentic self.
Yep.
Because me dressing my authentic self, that one person saw that picture in your BBM icon and look at where you at now. You on a Dress Code podcast. Why? Because you are you. You feel me? Period. You feel me?
So like earlier in another episode that we were talking about, anytime like I feel like I'm being shady about something that somebody has on, it comes from me feeling like they're not being themselves. It comes from me feeling like, why are you following everybody else?
What somebody else
this
is
is
doing.
not what you want to do.
Right.
You look crazy, in
Right.
my opinion, because it's just like I can tell that that's not you. I can tell that it's not really a thing, but Instagram's wearing it. You know what I'm saying? You know, whoever you are influenced by is wearing it, so you think that you should too.
You should
but
also.
I always do. What's for me is what's for me. Like I know certain things don't work for me or my body type, or I feel like it just don't flatter me. Right. I'm not gonna do it just to, you know what I'm saying, be down. Like, so that's the part that bothers me about people with fashion, because I kind of feel like it's either you have your just very authentic people who doing what they want to do, or you have your people who everybody's a sheep.
Right.
Like just following
And I mean,
behind.
and I think that is just, sadly, that's just the world that we live in, right?
Yeah.
And that you know, people are going to people every time. But I think that as long as we focus on us being our true authentic selves, right? And maybe even through just relentlessly being who we are, being, you know, authentic, you know, not letting your opinion be swayed, you know what I mean? Because the masses are doing one thing, even if you feel another, right? I think that as long as we continue to do that, then even if they never tell us, maybe you'll inspire someone who was quick to, you know, follow the trend to now say, you know what? It's not so bad after all, being on the side of just being authentically who I am.
Yo,
right?
Listen, the other day I was having a conversation with my boy Loon. Shout out to the Harder Soft podcast in Tahoe. He said, yo, bro, if it's one thing about you, if you see niggas going this way, doing that, he said, y'all niggas going this way, I'm going that. He said, you are that Max B video in its truest form. Whatever I see y'all doing this way, I'm going that way. I'm doing my own thing. If what I'm doing causes me to go that way,
then fine.
Cool. I'm going to go that way. I may fuck around and go that way.
Right.
But just because y'all going over there with it,
absolutely
my brother, I'm over here with it. I'm
That part.
always going to be my truest and authentic form. Because have you ever put on something and you knew that you did not feel comfortable in it?
Take it right off.
Bro, I've worn it. I wore it.
Take it right off.
Screw that, I wore it. And that entire day,
you
felt literally
the clothes are wearing you at that
Feel it.
point.
That
you know what I
part.
mean? And it's just like I can
hold on, baby.
tell.
I'm still doing
but
what needs
you
to
know
be
what
done.
I mean, though. Like,
But
it's wearing you.
Yeah.
It's an
internally,
uncomfortable feeling.
You walk around and you just feel like, I don't think when I got through the door.
Right.
For me, I feel like people can tell. And now I'm uncomfortable. I feel like people looking at me like, what? Girl, you know. Like, you know, and that's the whole thing. It's like, if I can feel it, I'm pretty sure somebody else can feel it. So that's why I just don't even bother.
Right.
I'm gonna always wear what I want to wear. Like
Right.
even today, I was like, damn, I need to put on like X, Y, and Z. Y'all see what I got on?
Right, that part.
Because this is what you getting
Period.
today.
That part.
I'm not about to stress myself. What
Right.
is my show? Like, so,
right.
it's my show. Like,
Right.
I know how to get dressed. I know what I do. And this
Right.
is also part of my style. This is something that I absolutely love to wear. Cargos enjoy this every single time. I do not care.
Right.
All the
So
time.
one thing that I want to talk about is I have this conversation, especially with Brooklyn people, being from Brooklyn. I like to say that as far as for the early 2000s, my era, I would say 2000 and I'll give it 2003 to 2012.
Okay.
Harlem was the capital of fashion.
Still is.
All right, let's
Period.
not
'Cause
get
you
carried
said-
away. They up there wearing jerseys with fitteds and listen.
Who's they?
Let me tell y'all something. Harlem is one of them places you do not see the people on
is
Instagram
that?
in the street.
Y'all about to go toe to toe
Who's
with
they
this Harlem
though?
in
Because
Brooklyn.
DJ Khaled said don't listen to they. So who is they? Is what I'm trying to figure out. Because I ain't seen a jersey yet.
I seen them. I'm in Harlem. I'm
And
Harlem
if you
frequently.
did, and if you
I'm
did,
not, so I can't speak on this
and
topic.
if you
I'm sorry.
did see a jersey, and I don't know about fitted, but if you did see a
with the matching
jersey
fitted.
with the matching fitted in Harlem, to be very fair, chances are you will absolutely be seeing that in Brooklyn very soon.
No. Oh,
Yep.
God.
So you know what?
We are
Somebody-
trendsetters.
Somebody
You do
said-
have to understand. First of all, and this is because I have people from Brooklyn that I love. I'm actually going to meet my friend right after this. I'm like obsessed with the way that she dresses. So her and a few of my friends aside, Harlem is just a trend-setting place, and that just is what it is. Brooklyn is too big to set trends. You have too many areas of Brooklyn who dress too many different ways to set a trend. Harlem is a very small, and this is a historical thing. This started back in the Harlem Renaissance.
Renaissance, yeah. Absolutely.
So this is not we can't dispute that as a fact. Now, what you can say is there are a lot less people in Harlem that you feel are doing fashion justice, right? And you may have seen somebody having an off day, but Harlem is always going to be. Historically, you should insert right at this point. You should insert that quote from Fat Joe when he's like, "Harlem historically has always been the Beverly Hills of black people."
Oh,
it just
Well,
is.
yes, absolutely.
What it is,
I
right?
always give Harlem
That's
is
a
the
fact.
most important.
But you stopped
place
it. You stopped it. You gave it a date. You gave it a timeline.
Okay.
You gave it a timeline.
Because I feel like that's when it was at its pinnacle. I'll say that's when for me that's when it's pinnacle.
Now, and I can
The
give you that
ACGs,
even
True
if
Religion,
even if I
Pellet
don't
Brown.
agree, I can give you that. That's you. I can you if that's when you feel like it was at its pinnacle. I can give you
Okay,
that.
all right.
However, to say that it is no longer the case, I will not allow that.
I feel
to
like
happen.
Brooklyn, right? Brooklyn, we got it.
She will not allow the slander.
It's literally Brooklyn, Harlem, and whatever the fuck anybody else is doing.
I don't pay attention to anybody else but Brooklyn and Harlem.
Yeah,
like to
I mean,
be
they ain't
quite
doing shit in
honest,
Queens.
No, not at all. Like for me, I've always had this conversation with people like who has the best fashion or who has the best style is between Brooklyn
mean,
and Harlem.
I just- when
But
I
depending
think
on where you're from, you're
Brooklyn-
gonna say your borough. You know
But
what I'm saying?
I don't know because I'm also a very unbiased person.
Okay.
When I think Brooklyn, right? And this is just and I'm gonna because I'm thinking about the era that you're speaking about.
Okay.
Right? So I'm speaking of only that time. I'm thinking when you say Brooklyn, I'm thinking, don't wear your Mermont. Them niggas gonna rob you.
But we thinking that about
Harlem. Yeah.
Harlem is when you get robbed.
That's the crazy
I
part.
was getting robbed in Brooklyn.
I literally stopped me and my man stopped one of my friends from getting robbed on 135th and Popeyes. 135th and St. Nick across from the Popeyes where the precinct is. On that corner. Is that St. Nick?
that's 7th Avenue.
That's 7th?
Yes.
It's 7th? Okay,
Yeah.
yes. You're right. On 7th. You feel me?
Okay. That just was not my
Right
experience.
We came.
I
up
might have to
7th.
phone a friend on this one. I don't know.
Yo, they stopped
from-
making biggies because of the Bronx and Harlem. They stopped. We
I
didn't
know,
wear worms.
I thought it was we didn't wear
We didn't wear
Mermonts.
Merms. We wore
It wasn't
Montclair.
a
Which
Mermont.
is why
Yeah.
I thought that when
Yeah.
people from Harlem was going to Brooklyn
we
in them,
was
they
robbing
was
them
getting
for their
robbed for them.
That's a valid point. But
You understand?
for a
That's
fact,
why I thought that.
Harlem and the Bronx were definitely on the Mermont.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
that's
we
y'all
always had
thing.
our
No, I
North
knew he was
Face
wearing
and
them.
on our
I knew he was
Montclairs.
wearing them.
Yeah.
But and so I thought that and not to discredit the Bronx. I thought the Bronx was I knew people was getting robbed in the Bronx
you could discredit
also.
the Bronx.
Because I absolutely had somebody snatch an iPhone from my hand in the Bronx. So
See?
But I
don't
thought
do
in my mind, when I thought Brooklyn, I thought Robin Mermont. And I also thought matching jerseys and matching hats.
No, that's y'all. That's Harlem.
So you're gonna
Oh
take
my
Fab
God.
away from starting that trend
I'm good. All right.
and wearing paper towels wrapped as
Jadakiss.
bandanas?
Jadakiss.
Fab
Knock yourself out.
absolutely started
Jadakiss,
that.
knock yourself out video.
Fab
Fab
absolutely
too.
started the
Fab too.
paper towel wrapped
Fab too.
around your head like it was a
Fab too.
bandana
Sure did.
and wearing a matching jersey
With the
with a
fitted.
matching hat.
Carolina blue.
That's y'all brother.
Yeah, you right.
No, he
From
got me
Freeport.
blocked. That ain't my brother.
Freeport, yeah.
He actually has me blocked also.
Yeah, because
Oh my
Because he cannot dress.
At all.
And when people put him in the dressing conversation, you have to claim him.
yo,
Because he's from Brooklyn.
This is my sister.
I had a conversation with somebody the other day, and they were just like, "Yo, Fab." I'm like, "I'm really like."
He had a woman's fur coat on, cropped.
right here.
It was cropped.
let me explain to you.
It was a woman's coat.
Now, to be fair, I do think.
He's from Brooklyn.
I do think.
And people love to add him in the conversation when y'all talking about dressing.
Not I.
Right.
That's why he asked me
I
blocked.
Right now,
No.
for me, I'm not the biggest Fab fan. Right now, it feels a little chaotic. His outfits to me
It's
feel
been chaotic.
It's been chaotic.
They
It's been
feel
chaotic.
very chaotic. I want to say maybe 10 years ago we probably could have had Fab in a conversation, possibly. But right now, for me,
I'd have
it's
vetoed that every
Every
time.
time.
If y'all want to throw him into Brooklyn, then Harlem got it.
I'm gonna. You wanna know why? This is where I rate people's. This is where I meet people at with fashion, especially celebrities. I look at your fashion. How I gauge it is, if I can go in a store and put on and buy your outfit, what am I rating? When I look at Wale, when I look at Tiana Taylor, when I look at people like Shy Glizzy, or I look at for the most part those guys, those people right there. I can't go. I'll look at stuff that
could
Wale
never
has, and I'll be like,
duplicate it.
where the
Yeah, no.
fuck am I gonna
Absolutely.
find? I used
Yeah.
to look at Wale's closet growing on Tumblr, and I'm sitting there like, where would I find this shirt? I will never
And
find
that's
this.
interesting because I never hear people add Wale into the fashion
Wale
conversation.
is so
I love that.
underrated.
I love that.
So underrated. We
it's
say
T-
it all the time. Like, he deserves way
Who
more
am I
credit.
going when I had the conversation? Who's my top?
Tiana Taylor, Wale.
I keep them on the same line.
They-
I keep them on the
they
same
have
line.
I love
him.
that.
Yeah.
I love that because I don't hear his name mentioned. Tiana is given. She's a
Yeah,
Come on.
That's just
Yeah,
like
she's
a no,
absolutely
no-brainer. Yeah.
she's in the
She's
league
the
of her
reason
own.
why we do it.
But
Yeah.
Wale, we have. I remember you guys remember. I don't know if you saw that clip of the People Gallery when they were interviewing the two guys and Wale was there too. And everybody in the comments was like, "Y'all not even interviewing the flyest person in this clip." Like,
No, I didn't see
In
that.
this
But I
clip.
love People's Gallery, by
Yeah,
the way.
me
I
too.
can't
Yeah,
wait for
yeah.
y'all to
They're
just
so
catch me
good.
one day
You feel-
outside.
Yeah.
I would love
Yeah.
to do one. Can we do like a fake one?
Yes,
All right.
Let's set it up.
Let's do a fake one right now. Okay.
Yes.
All right. You got to be here
I gotta
and
do-
you'll
Yeah.
interview me.
Hey, what's up? How you doing today?
Hi, how are you? How's everything?
I'm fine, and you? I'm seeing that you got that shit on right about
I
now.
appreciate
Oh
that.
my God!
Thank
you want to give
you.
us a little bit of insight on your outfit?
Yes, sure, absolutely. But first, you gotta ask me what's your name, where you from.
Yeah.
Hello.
How forget that? What's your name and where you from?
My name is Ashlee, and I'm from Harlem, New York.
We got Harlem in the building.
Harlem is definitely in the building.
Okay, definitely. So give the people an insight on what you got on right about now.
All right, so we can start from the toe.
Okay.
So I got the Asics on, the gel Kayanos, I think is how you say
Don't
it.
play with them.
Yeah, I got the Be Iconic socks on. Don't leave home without them.
Okay, best. Go ahead.
Best socks in the game. Yes,
Best socks in the game.
Absolutely. My pants are from, if I'm not mistaken, my pants are from Pretty Little Thing. They're these like balloon kind of windbreaker cargos. I thought the shape of them was really fly.
Definitely fly. Shout out to Pretty Little Thing.
Yes. So then up here, I have a Zara. I guess it's like a muscle shirt, is what the kids are calling it these days.
Got you.
A Zara muscle shirt on. My glasses are Prada.
You see them? Don't play with her.
see the arm candy.
Period. Wedding ring. Don't leave home without it. I have a Be Iconic bracelet on. It's a self-love bracelet. It's a part of my self-love bracelet kit. Watch is a Rolex, and other bracelet is Hermes.
You got to zoom in on the Rolex. You got to get into the Rolex.
You definitely got to get into the Rolex. So if you give anybody a fashion tip, what would it be?
I would say that a fashion tip that I would give anyone is that if you look good and you feel good, if you look good, then you'll feel even better. So make sure that what you put on, you are absolutely going to feel good in it, because you need to feel good when you're walking out so that you can own the day.
Okay, and what's your sign and what's your favorite food?
I am a Sagittarius, big Swaggitarius in the house.
Sagittarius.
And, I like Swaggitarius better. And my favorite food would absolutely have to be Japanese food. Anything Japanese, I'm game.
Okay, definitely. We want to thank you for your time.
Most welcome. See? We be perfect. People's Gallery, you have to come interview us.
That's crazy.
You have to find us.
We gotta get him on the show.
You gotta come find us.
So funny. That was a
Yo,
good one.
that got me so dead right now. Yo, that was so funny.
Wait, so like, what is your favorite part of getting dressed? Like, what is
Good question.
So I'm
Good
a very
question,
big, so I am, my go-tos, like what I go to first when I'm building my outfits is shoes. Like I'm a really, really big, I'm a huge sneakerhead. I do love shoes. Like I have some shoes that I absolutely love. And, coats. As much as I hate the cold, I love a good coat.
You want my spirit?
Like I love a good coat. So I start there. What footwear am I gonna wear? What coat or jacket am I gonna wear? And then everything else kind of falls into place after that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what's so bad? My homeboy pointed this out to me when we was in the 6th grade. He said, yo, bro, you don't even realize you look at people from the feet up. I'm so obsessed with sneakers and shoes
that you look at people.
I look at your feet first, and then I heard growing up that you judge a man by their shoes.
They do say that,
you know.
Yep.
So I always look at people. I've always looked at people from their feet first. If somebody was to rob me or harm me, I'd be like, officer, you lost me on the face.
But what I do know what he had on his feet.
I don't know because I don't talk to the motherfucking police.
Right. But if you did, if you did, you definitely knew what shoes he had on.
In my head, I'd be like, I don't know what. In my head, I'm like, yeah, I definitely know them sneakers. I know only one place he could get them shits. Round 2, motherfucker.
That part.
Is so
I'm
funny.
on your ass.
Wait, did they close?
Yeah, round 2's closed.
All of them, or did he only close the one here in New York?
There was more locations.
Yeah, there was one in there were one in Miami. There's one in Miami, and there was 2. There was one in LA.
Yeah, guys. Yeah, Google.
Okay, well, as far as I'm concerned, I was ignorant to that. But yeah, I only knew about the one on was that Orchard Street? Yeah,
the one downtown.
That one's gone.
Wow, yeah, because my husband told me the other day, round 2 is finished. I'm like, completely or just that one? And he wasn't sure. But when you just mentioned it,
because the reselling game is
It's ridiculous.
It's a horrible game. So matter of fact, we could get into that. So being Harlem, you got 125th, and there was at a point in time it was 1 million sneaker stores up on it. So it was the reselling game it's not, I won't say it's new to us, but how do you feel about it now with it being so publicized and you being a sneaker person? It's just it's like a cutthroat industry about now.
I think that they've taken the joy out of buying a shoe, right? Like I literally remember growing up, waking up 5 a.m., grandmom driving me and my friends to Foot Locker on 34th. You know what I mean? To wait online for the cool gray 11s to release. They took the joy out of our kids don't have that.
Nah.
It's unfortunate that when my 8-year-olds get a little bit older, and if they do decide that they are into fashion and like certain things and they want a specific sneaker, if I don't have a connect or a plug that worked for the company, I have to pay twice as much
amount of money,
because I have to get them from StockX. That's unfortunate. You know what I mean?
You got to look at the risk factor also, and to play devil's advocate. People were dying over these sneakers,
and that's what's wrong.
People were dying.
That's what's also incorrect, right? Because everybody just needs to get their shit together. I shouldn't have to pay 5 times the price, but somebody also shouldn't die just because they got lucky and was able to catch a pair of sneakers.
Right.
Coming fresh out of the store.
A pair of sneakers and a life, there's no comparison.
There's no comparison. And the fact that we even have to have that conversation is disgusting.
It's crazy.
Right?
So now, to throw in another loophole now, so we don't want people dying over the sneakers, and we don't want to spend 5 times the amount. Now, how big are we on exclusivity? On having exclusive pieces and having sneakers where not everybody has it, because so now the next option is create more sneakers.
And they absolutely should.
That's what you okay.
I absolutely feel that way, because why would I care if you and I are sitting here right now, or she and I are sitting here right now with the same sneakers on, when I know for 1,000% fact we'd all style it completely different.
And I say this all the time. I tell people
Why
all the
would
time,
I care?
It doesn't matter. We could all have on the same thing. We're all gonna wear it a completely different way.
like,
It's gonna feel different.
Right? Why?
It's gonna feel different.
I could care less because I actually have a sneaker and I want everybody to have it. Well, I didn't want it to be this thing. And like when people get to the core of what Kanye never wanted that either. He never wanted Yeezy to be what it turned into. I mean, huge, yes. Popularity, absolutely. He never wanted it to be this thing where only X amount got released, and so everybody. That's why he wanted the price point to be so cheap.
Capitalism.
But so there you have it, right? There's always going to be a force that's going to make sure that a certain aspect of our life will always be divisive. And if they can do it, and if they can say, well, I see where those I see what they're willing to do to each other for it.
That's control.
Exactly.
Bam.
That's even bigger than that's control.
Exactly.
That's literally at this point with sneakers, it's become population control because
Absolutely.
niggas is offering each other
There
for the
you go.
shoes.
So
You feel me?
and they're aware, right? I don't want anybody to think that this is some like,
It's not a secret.
oh no,
Yeah,
why did that happen?
That's
You
why we
understand
got
what I'm
the
saying?
sneakers
And so what happens is, but once again, it all goes back into how you feel about yourself. You feel inadequate because you don't have them, because somebody told you that you were less than because you don't have the Jordans on Monday that came out on Saturday.
In the words of Kanye West,
Yeah.
and I spent a couple bucks on this just to say, nigga, you ain't up on this.
Right? And so it's like, why do we have to, like, why was that ever a thing? Right? I went to junior high school. I went to high school with people like that, which is purposely why I didn't want to dress anything like them. Because guess where I got my shoes from? The Doc Martin store. And you can go right there and get them too, right? When everybody in my era was wearing, and don't get me wrong, I had a phase where I went through it too, but when everybody was wearing like Pelés and Azores and, you know, all those things, I was very much in like my like skater punk rock, you know, phase. And I was wearing Doc Martens and black acid wash jeans and, you know what I mean? Like I didn't want anyone, because if anybody asks me, I can tell you right where to go get it.
Right.
You can go right to Journeys and buy it. That's,
Journeys,
you know what I'm
always
saying?
had
Like
it.
you can go to Journeys, right, and get it. You can go to the Doc Martin store and get it. You can all of these places that I was shopping, there was nothing exclusive about them. The only thing that made it look exclusive was everybody else was doing that when I was doing this.
Yeah.
So it's funny how you say that, because that's also how my introduction to like really having my own style was while everybody was getting Vinnies and having these J's and stuff like that. I'm West Indian. I grew up. I come from West Indian household. So
We wasn't. I wasn't.
and a
doing
single
it.
parent.
Yeah.
And my mother was a single mother. So until I started selling drugs, there was no
Right.
Jordans. There
Saturday
wasn't no none of
morning.
this.
Yeah.
You going to do this? You going to do that?
Yeah.
100 and who for what? I going in and buy. Boy,
Yeah, not
come
in
on,
this
man.
house.
Right.
There is no none of that Jordans.
Right.
The only times
Right.
I was getting those type of things is my grandparents on Christmas and things like that. So I was literally, I had to curate my own closet from from what my mother could provide for me. You feel me?
No,
And
for sure.
I did my thing with it to the point where I won best. I remember sneaking out the house when everybody was wearing Vinnies and Brooklyn t-shirts. I was still wearing my church clothes, wearing blazers and button-down shirts with Dunks and Levi's. And niggas is like, what are you doing? You feel me? Only for Kanye West to come out a couple years later wearing the same. I didn't know nothing about this. And so I got people at school laughing at me because I won't say laughing, but they were looking at me like,
Strange.
what you got on?
Yeah.
And then you got my mother telling me I can't even wear it because it's for church.
Right.
So I'm double sneaking.
Right.
You feel me? I'm super sneaking with what I got on.
Right.
But it created my identity for me to never be like you niggas. I will never be doing what y'all are doing. I don't care what y'all got going on. You feel me? I somewhat had to create. I would never sit down and say, you know, I want to. I didn't like some of the things that they had on. Of course, I liked it.
Right.
Of course, I want to wear certain things. You feel me? But it wasn't in the budget.
Right.
And certain things I wasn't even really so aware of. I used to just sit there and go through Complex magazine. I have stacks of Complex magazine, just going through looking at the different styles and just daydreaming about, yo, I can't wait till I can get this. I can't wait till I can buy that. You feel me? Until I was really able to buy it. But I always knew my style was always going to be different from what the other person was doing. And I was always going to do my own thing and always be in my own lane. You feel me? So when you say what you call it, whatever, what everybody's doing, I could find I could put something on and and people ask me, where you got that from? Bro, I got this exactly from where you bought that shirt from, but guess what? You walked right past it. I got this the same exact store. You walked right past it. There's times where I will put food up on the Instagram and people be like, yo, bro, where's it? Where did you get? Bro, I got this from Applebee's. This is an Applebee's meal. You just look past it on the menu.
You may probably make it look more aesthetic.
And I make it look better.
Right.
I make it everything I do, everything I, in the words of everything I do, everything I touch, I make it look better. I'm a boss. Y'all lucky I ain't got a blowout.
You get on my
Y'all lucky
A blowout is hilarious.
Y'all lucky.
Here, flip it out here. I will say there's like a specific like kind of joy getting something that you couldn't get as a child, as an adult.
Oh, absolutely.
I remember I wanted the snakeskin 11s, the blue ones that came out when I was in junior high school. Baby, they dropped again, and I remember sitting in a hospital bed when they dropped, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm buying these today, today." I got them because I was like, I wanted them, and I couldn't get them, and they matched my uniform perfectly at the time. My mother was like, "No, absolutely not." Sick. So now guess who bought them for herself? I did.
And
I was like, yes. I was so happy to have them.
I do not blame you. I absolutely feel like in my adult life, I'm coming back for every single thing that I wanted as a kid that I, just couldn't get. And my grandmother, she did a phenomenal job. There was so many things that I, looking back now, I'm super grateful, right, that I was able to have and able to acquire. But there always going to be something that you ask for that you just can't get. And so there definitely is a certain sense of joy that you feel when you're like, wow, not only do I have access to get it, but I actually can afford to buy it
on my own.
On my own, and I'm not looking for anybody else to get it for me or a handout or anything like that. And so I would agree that it definitely is a sense of joy that you get when you can get something for yourself that you weren't able to get when you were a kid. I literally
have a sneaker collection. And it hurts my heart to say this because when I look back, it's like an irony thing, you feel me? I guess I'll call it, it's called Mama Said No. I have a Jordan collection called Mama Said No. So I bought all the Jordans that my mother said no to. You feel me? It's called Mama Said No. You feel me? But as I got older, the reason why I find the humor in it is because coming from when you're 13, 14, 15 being told no from your mother and you don't understand why she's saying no.
Exactly.
To being 25, 26, 27 and realizing, yo, bro, that was a single mother with 2 kids trying to build a household, put a roof over your head, food on your table,
pay the
bills. You feel me? Child support check doing whatever it could try to do. That's probably where that no came from.
Absolutely. It's not because they don't want to give it to you. Like, I cannot.
Sometimes
I can't even.
I feel like sometimes she could have gave it to me.
No, that's
she's a Scorpio. She's a little selfish.
But you feel me? It's just like, I think as we grow up, we realize that
but that's not the norm.
Humans.
Exactly.
The norm was not that she could and she didn't. It was that she actually could not.
Really couldn't do it. It probably wasn't in the... And then you got to think about it. I'm probably, at that age, you thinking so selfishly, you buy for one... You still got young blood over there. I still got a younger sister.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's right.
You feel me? So now I got to buy for 2. So am I buying 2 pairs of Jordans or we keeping the lights on?
Right.
That part.
Well.
You feel me? Am I putting food in the fridge?
Right.
You feel me?
Yeah.
I will say, like, what do you want, to leave everybody with, from this episode?
I think what I would love to leave everyone with, if you so care, is to just try to, in your own life, do things that make people feel more seen and feel more accepted and bring us together more. And do that in whatever your perspective platform is. If you want to do it, like us, through clothes, like this young lady who is now absolutely about to start her diabetes get ready with me videos, showing off her sensor and showing people that sensors do not, and I'm like in my brain already thought of like a hashtag and like everything, like that or like so a slogan, like my sensor doesn't make me any less sensible than you. Ooh. Or stylish and censored. Like there's all these things there's all these things you could, or like censored and not in the way that you think I'm talking about. Yeah. Like there's so many things that you can do with that. So please allow like that insecurity to birth something that now helps other people and helps other people see themselves in you. Right? Because that's so important. Yeah. So I would like to leave you guys with that, right? Like be comfortable in everything that you wear. If you feel good, if you look good, you'll feel good. And if if there's anything that you can do in your everyday life to make someone else feel more included in the grand collective, of just life and life alone, because life does its thing, y'all.
Life be life.
That part. then please do it. And so please help me and join me as much as you can on my mission to change the world one self-esteem at a time.
Love to see it. I'm so happy you came.
Thank you guys for
much.
having me.
Your presence is appreciated.
Thank
he
you.
over here fangirling.
I love that we getting guests that we actually get to sit on the gram and look at and be like, yo, I love what they're doing. I love their style. I love
Thank you.
If you look at so when we were creating the podcast, we made a list of the people who we wanted on it. You're probably in the top 5.
Oh, that's very
top 5,
sweet.
top 10. Like,
Thank you so much.
Like, I'm a big fan.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much for coming through.
Sweet. Thank you.
It's the Dress Code Podcast. It's your boy Bruhman from the 5th floor, alongside the stylist local with the lovely guest Eyeconicash, and we're out.
Yep.
Peace.